And if you take it day by day, that's how you're going to be able to make it to the end of 2024 without watching porn. What's up, you guys? Welcome to the Road to Recovery YouTube channel, a video series to encourage men who are battling porn addiction. And in today's episode, I want to share with you guys some posts that I found over in the Reddit NoFap community that I thought were helpful for recovery from porn addiction. So without any further ado, let's just get into it. This first post is titled, "You don't watch porn because you're horny." Most of the time, when you watch porn, it's not because you're horny. It's usually because you're stressed, bored, anxious or sad, or in any other emotional state you're seeking relief from. The problem is you've always watched porn to deal with these emotional states. Let us use the example of watching porn to relieve stress. You've trained your brain to associate feeling stressed with wanting to watch porn to relieve the stress. You then get this strong feeling like you need to watch porn, which isn't true. What you need in this case is a healthy way to deal with the stress. The key to breaking this cycle is to form new habits. 1. Whenever you feel like watching porn, ask yourself what mood you're in. Are you bored, sad, anxious, hungry, lonely, etc.? 2. Find a healthy way to deal with these feelings. Examples like going for a walk, doing some exercise, spending time with friends or family, listening to music, finding something productive to do, etc. 3. Over time, you won't feel that powerful urge to watch porn every time you're in a certain mood. This has been the way I've heard from people saying that it really worked for them in their journey to quit porn. I wish you luck. I think this is a really great and informative post because it's so true that you don't watch porn because you're horny. And this is a common misconception because when starting the recovery process, it's so easy to feel like you're trapped by your urges and just to fall into the mindset of, well, I'm just horny, so how else am I going to deal with these urges? Well, that's not true. And as this person shared with us, there's other emotions that we're dealing with in our life that we need to learn how to deal with without porn. Because really, we're just using porn to medicate these problems that we're having in our life. And the great thing is that OP shared with us some examples of things we can do to form new healthy habits. So if I were you guys, I would reread through this list and see what are some things that I could add to my lifestyle, some new and healthy habits that I can work on creating. All right, so let's go to the next post. This post is titled, "You are not fapping because you can't have sex." Title says it. Please don't think when you have a girlfriend or get married you will be able to stop fapping. This will not happen. This is my experience. I stayed addicted even when I lost my virginity. I was shocked. My penis couldn't work well. I have a girlfriend now for 3 years, and this is my longest streak now. Finally, my sex life is better and still getting better, and I have a long road. I used to take pills secretly before I have sex because I couldn't get it up. Please stop for the sake of your manhood. Fapping and porn will turn you to a cuckold or a weird man who just loves watching feet and to beat his meat. This is actually another one that's a common misconception and a lie that I believed for the longest of times. Because before I met my wife, I believed that my porn addiction was just something that I was using to relieve my urges. And if you're not married, you're not in any sort of romantic relationship, do not believe this lie. Because even after you get into a relationship, your porn addiction is going to stay with you. Because it's a lie that you just watch porn because you're not having sex. These two things do not correlate together. You might think that they go hand in hand, but they don't. Because remember what the other post had said, where he was sharing about the different emotions that we have to deal with, and we just use porn to drown out those emotions. So imagine when you get married, your emotional state is going to be so much more heightened because now you are two people that have been brought together. And naturally, conflict is going to arise in a marriage. So you're still going to have these strong emotions, if not stronger than they were before. And if you've been addicted to porn all of this time, then you're just going to continue to use porn in your marriage to medicate these problems that you're having. So this is the reason why you're not just watching porn just because you can't have sex. And for those of you who aren't in any sort of romantic relationship, take this as a warning. Now is the time to end your out of control behavior with porn. There's no time like the present. It's not going to get solved when you get into a relationship. So let's go into the next post. All right, so here we have a social media tier list for NoFap, and it has some problematic apps that you can find porn, some dangerous apps, some to be careful with, some that it might depend, and others that are safe. But if we read the comments here, we can see some disagreement. One commenter writes that YouTube can be dangerous also. Lots of porn stars doing podcasts and collabs with streamers. The internet tries to lead you to porn some way or another. And I really appreciate this comment because this is someone who is taking their recovery very seriously. Just because you can't find literal porn doesn't mean that the app is necessarily safe. You have to be a good steward of your recovery and learn how to guard your heart. So this is a really valuable comment. And another commenter says, I would just group all of these into one category, avoid. And especially when starting off in your recovery, this is so important. Just get rid of social media altogether because there are so many stumbling blocks. And if you're able to detox from all of these apps, then you're going to be able to get off on the right foot. And this next post actually is a reordering of the social media tier list for NoFap. And you can see here that all of the apps have been categorized as you can find porn there. And in a bit of a comedic gesture, we can see that LinkedIn is the only safe app. But yeah, it's true that when you are recovering from porn addiction, you will be able to find loopholes in all of the apps because you're going to be searching for that next hit of dopamine. So don't fool yourself into thinking that any app is necessarily safe. Like I said, you're the one who's in charge of your recovery, so set strict boundaries in order to keep yourself safe and make sure that you will not be able to relapse. And if you do relapse on any of these social media sites, be sure to remove them from your phone because you never want to relapse the same way twice. So if the first time you fooled yourself into thinking a certain website or activity was safe and then you end up relapsing, just remove it. Don't even mess around with that. This is what it means to set strong boundaries. All right, so let's move on to the final post here. This one is titled Focus on Each Day Rather Than the Whole Year. You don't have to think about doing NoFap for a year, just think about today. Speaking from years of New Year resolutions, the motivation doesn't last long. Just focus on one day at a time and you'll not realize how far you have come. Don't give NoFap too much space in your head. Focus on your life. You will automatically use that energy when you find something that makes you happy. It's easy. You just don't have to touch your dick. That's it. I'm telling you this because what happens with me is when I think too much about NoFap and eventually it leads me to fapping, so I prefer thinking about my goals and how I can be what I want to be and use that energy. I wish you all the best and the most happiest year of your life. And I think this is a great post to end this video on because coming into the new year, it could be so overwhelming looking at the whole year that we have in front of us. And we can be asking ourselves, how are we going to get through this entire year without watching porn? And this is some great advice that this OP has to share with us. That is to just take it one day at a time. You can set some goals for yourself, and rather than focusing on just not looking at porn, not jerking off, all these things that you don't want to do, you can focus on your goals of things that you do want to do. And if you take it day by day, that's how you're going to be able to make it to the end of 2024 without watching porn. I believe in you guys. You can do it. You just have to take it one day at a time. And if porn addiction is something that you're struggling with, then consider subscribing to my YouTube channel so I can help you out on your road to recovery. All right, you guys, I'll see you next time.